thank you for joining me here today. My name is Renee Schumacher. I'm the Arts Core District Coordinator for the Oshkosh Area School District, and I work to support teachers who are interested in working arts into the core content curriculum. I support teachers from pre-service all the way through veteran.
My name is Yukiko Grine, and I teach orchestra at Oshkosh North and West High Schools in the Oshkosh Area School District, and I am the music director of the Oshkosh Youth Symphony.
A common support request that I receive is about student engagement, and I would also argue that teacher engagement is equally important. With arts integration, the learning is on display. Students are able to use their other intelligences to show you what they know, what they understand, and it's usually interactive, visually or even audibly, so that you can see the learning, they can see their classmates learning. This is active and engaging for students and teachers. Arts integration is an approach to teaching in which students construct and demonstrate their understanding through an art form. Students engage in a creative process which connects an art form and another subject area and meets evolving objectives in both. For a full-fledged arts integration lesson plan, you would have an art standard and a content standard that were equally taught and assessed. Using arts integration strategies is a great way to introduce yourself and your students to arts integration in the classroom, whether you're an arts teacher or core content teacher.
Okay, so regarding the integration of the arts, obviously as a musician and an educator, I firmly believe that integration is so important, and it's such a beautiful thing and such a fulfilling and wonderful holistic experience for students and teachers alike. And so I feel very passionate about providing opportunities and participating in opportunities to make that happen for students, for students and young musicians. So I think being able to integrate the arts into, like, say, the STEM elements of the students' curriculum, it brings a whole, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but a whole extra dimension or a multi-dimensional sort of really fulfilling aspect to your whatever project you're doing, because participating in the arts and accessing your inner artist or inner creative soul, I guess you could say, is one of the most beautiful and fulfilling and wonderful and meaningful things that you can do as a student or a teacher. And so if you provide those creative outlets for students and engage them through the arts and music, there's just no way that they can't come out on the other end having grown as a human being. I mean, there's just to add that component to whatever other curriculum that they're working on or working through, just adds, like I said, that multidimensional aspect to their learning and expression. And it really provides a wonderful outlet of expression for students. And so they're able to demonstrate their learning in so many extra ways or new ways and fulfilling ways. So we should all do that. My name is Yukiko Grine, and some of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I teach orchestra here in Oshkosh at North and West High School, and I also conduct the symphonic orchestra and the youth orchestra program here in Oshkosh. We're putting together a children's concert for you and your students called Full Steam Ahead, as in STEM with the arts thrown in there. What would happen if you screamed in outer space? So today you will, number one, learn about sound waves and their connection to music. Number two, you're going to listen to an excerpt of a book about a musical cow. And number three, you're going to create a string or percussion instrument of your own, which you will use to perform with the Youth Symphony on our concert. Number four, you're going to share your creations on Flipgrid, so share the making of your instrument on Flipgrid. I've picked a story that reminded me about how I felt when I was your age, when I saw my first symphony concert and heard Beethoven performed for the first time.
Makes like a violin. If I go like this, I use it as a pick, and then it's and I use the glue, and then when I go like this, it at least has, like, if you put it on, it has like some space between, so that when I push on it, it makes a sound. I have a percussion and a string instrument.
A percussion and a string instrument.
So I use this to make different beats for, like,
You're high on the floor with the rest of us.
and then I use these mallets to make more beats. Because the pencils by itself would only do this. This is fitting. So then I also use this string for a good tone.
So there's your string. Okay, wonderful.
And I play the trombone. The trombone is a member of the brass family.
Do you want me to ask it again?
Yeah, it's like how to, just ask the question
Okay.
so I can be quiet.
How did the project start?
Okay, well, the project, Full Steam Ahead, started out of the idea that every year the Oshkosh Youth Symphony does a children's concert, a free children's concert for an entire grade level of elementary students in the Oshkosh Area School District and surrounding districts in the greater Oshkosh area and Fox Valley. And we did a children's concert together before Full Steam Ahead, but then we just wanted to revamp the program and try some new things and new ideas. So after talking with some colleagues and having brainstorming sessions, late at night, we came up with the idea of Full Steam Ahead and incorporating science, technology, engineering, and math, and of course the arts. And we wanted to make it a project-based learning experience for students and integrate many different subject areas into one, and then have a culminating experience where the students actually got to participate in the concert performance with the students of the Oshkosh Youth Symphony. So that's basically how it began, and then over the course of about a year, we had various meetings. We pulled in our S.T.E.A.M coordinator in the Oshkosh Area School District, Arts Corps coordinator Renee Schumacher, and staff and teachers from the district at the elementary level, and also, of course, the Youth Symphony staff and board. And together, through our collaboration, our collaborative meetings and sessions, we came up with this idea and program and put it into motion. Okay, so what you just heard was a theme from the piece that you're going to perform with us. And it's a piece written by a guy named Beethoven, Ludwig von Beethoven. And I just wanted to play a little bit of the theme on my violin because this is a stringed instrument. There are strings on my violin. There's this little wooden piece called a bridge. And this black piece of wood is the fingerboard. And I put my fingers on the fingerboard to play the notes. And the reason why I'm playing my violin for you is to just show you what happens when I put my bow, that's the stick with horsehair on it, on the string. And when I play notes on my violin, the string vibrates. So the bow moves the string and it vibrates. And that is, those are the sounds that you're hearing. You're hearing the vibrations of the string. I'm going to play the theme one more time, and I want you to just listen to the notes that I play and just think about what you're hearing. What does the sound like? Does it stay the same? Does it change? When I put my fingers down on the string, it changes the length of the string. So the bridge is a point of contact for the string, and then wherever I put my finger on the fingerboard, that's the other point of contact. And so then wherever I put my finger, all the way to the bridge, that is the length of the string that is vibrating. If I put my finger down in a different place on the string, and then the string is longer or shorter from the bridge to my finger, depending on what notes I'm playing, and the sound of the note changes depending on where I put my fingers. So why is that? When you build your instruments and when you talk about your mystery science unit, you're going to learn why that is and what's happening. That's all for now. Preparation took, it was quite an undertaking. So the preparation process was, and bringing this to fruition was a very intense and involved process. I have to be honest about that. But it was exciting and it was rewarding because all of us were so deeply invested in doing something like this. And I personally just enjoyed so much being able to collaborate in a new way with some of the other staff members in the district, and bringing in Arts Corps as well. And that was just, it really was fulfilling for me personally as a musician and a teacher. So it wasn't arduous work in that way. It was really fun and very enjoyable. So the process involved, of course, on the music end, I have weekly rehearsals with the Youth Symphony students. And so we intensely prepared our program of music. And before that, I had to go through the process of picking, very carefully selecting pieces of music that would fit with our theme and directly align with and easily align with the district, science and engineering standards that the students were learning about or learning through. And so the music selection process actually probably took the longest in terms of, on my end, in terms of making sure that it was, right, relevant, meaningful, and engaging. Then we of course had the rehearsals on the musical end of things, and then the Youth Symphony, and then I worked very closely with Renee Schumacher and Arts Corps to get some grant money. The Youth Symphony also, we have a development director who raised money for supplies, for books to be purchased for the literacy piece. And we got together and basically made lists of what we're going to need. Got numbers from the students that would be participating so we could buy the correct amount of supplies. And then we just did whatever we needed to do to get those supplies to every single classroom that was participating. And we made a lot of videos and Google slide presentations for the elementary staff members so that they could show it to their students and they could implement the plan basically. So and then finally on the elementary side, the teachers had to go through the process of helping students build musical instruments, aligning with their core science standards and engineering principles and things like that, and sharing it out digitally using technology and Flipgrid. And then at the concert, we all came together, and the Youth Symphony students really enjoyed the participation from the elementary students, and the Youth Symphony students recorded a virtual petting zoo, explaining and showing the elementary students their instruments. And then finally we all performed together, and then the Youth Symphony also performed some other pieces for the students. So on one day in November. It was in November. So that was a very long explanation. It was a big process. Okay, so now I need to build an instrument, and I have lots of supplies to choose from, and so I have a lot to think about and some choices to make. The number one choice I have to make is I have to decide what kind of instrument I want to make. Do I want to make a string instrument? Do I want to make a percussion instrument or some kind of wind instrument? And I have a lot of supplies. These are some of the supplies that you'll see, different sized boxes. You know what? I think I like the sound better with the straws. Okay. Much nicer sound. I like this a lot better. It works better. I'm gonna go with that. See you November 12th. I've picked a story that reminded me about how I felt when I was your age, when I saw my first symphony concert and heard Beethoven performed for the first time. If you have reading buddies or have a buddy class at your school, this is a book you could share with them if you wanted to. The title of the book that I'm going to read to you today is Because, and it was written by Mo Willems, and the artist who illustrated the book is Amber Wren. So, let's begin. Because a man named Ludwig wrote beautiful music, a man named Franz was inspired to create his own. Because many years later, people wanted to hear Franz's beautiful music, they formed an orchestra. Because a man had practiced since he was a kid, he was asked to join. Because a woman studied night and day, she too was asked to play. Because many others loved and practiced their instruments, there were enough musicians. Because someone created a poster about Franz's music, tickets were sold. Because the train conductor stopped the train at the Grand Concert Hall, the orchestra conductor arrived. Because the orchestra librarian had copies of the score, the orchestra rehearsed. Because workers checked the lights and the seats and swept the floors, the grand hall was ready. Because the time had come, the ushers opened the doors. Because someone's uncle caught a cold, someone's aunt had an extra ticket for someone special. Because the usher helped the aunt and her special guest, they found their seats. Because everyone was there to hear beautiful music, it was quiet. In row C, seat 14, sat the girl with the uncle's ticket. She heard the beautiful music written by the man named Franz, and it changed her. The girl was changed. From that moment on, the girl learned everything she could about music because it fed her. Soon, she started to write music too, because, like Franz, the young woman had something to share. Over time, the woman became very good because she worked very hard. One night, her music was discovered because she was also very lucky. Then she was invited to perform her music at the Grand Concert Hall because so many people wanted to hear it. Her composition was dedicated to the uncle in row C, seat 14, because it was his ticket that brought her here. And that night, someone else was changed. That is how it happens. Thing for us, the advantage for us was that the Oshkosh Area School District already has a partnership, a community partnership with the Oshkosh Youth Symphony organization. So I would say first steps, if you don't already have a relationship with an outside arts nonprofit or music nonprofit organization or organization period, would be to kind of see what's out there in your community. Maybe if it's a youth symphony in your area, you can go to one of their concerts and then reach out to their board or their development director or whomever, and just see if they might be interested in collaborating. Basically, our school district is all about collaboration and community partnerships, so this aligned very, very well with our district's mission and vision. So that just worked out really well, to our advantage. So I would suggest going out and reaching out to some organizations in your area. That's a good answer. Do that. I think on the Youth Symphony side, it was more engaging for our students. Of course, we're going to keep working on making it more engaging for them so that they feel even more so that they have some ownership over this process and that they're fully involved in engaging the elementary students. But they enjoyed being able to share about their own experiences and individual instruments, and they did a wonderful job explaining them on our videos that we shared out with teachers and students and played at the beginning of the concert while all the students were coming in and sitting down. And just making sure that I tried to make sure that they knew exactly what we were up to and the point and why we were doing this. I shared Flipgrid videos of the elementary students explaining their musical instruments and their design, building, and revamping process with the high school students, and they really enjoyed seeing the younger students' creative minds at work, and so they enjoyed it. So then when we all came together, it was almost like we had a little bit of a relationship established, even though it was done through technology and digital videos and things like that. But and then because the elementary students were engaged on a deep level during the concert too, as a musician and a performer, when you're on stage making music and sharing that with your audience, whomever it may be, it's a reciprocal relationship, and almost like a symbiotic relationship that you establish with the audience, because you react to what the energy that they're giving you, and vice versa. So if the musicians are doing a beautiful job of performing and engaging their audience, then the audience responds in kind, and then it just goes from there. So the high school students really enjoyed the high level of engagement, and they played with a lot of passion and energy. And the elementary students were really excited to show off their instruments, I guess, and give them a try in terms of performing them with them, and so it ended up being a really wonderful and rich experience for everybody.
All this hard work that had to go into this, would you do this project again?
Oh, yeah, okay, so with all the hard work and everything that you have to invest in, the time and the planning and the intensity of putting something that together and then making it come to fruition, yes, totally would do it again. Like I said before, it was really fulfilling on a very personal, deeply personal level, as a teacher and musician and performer. Just being inspired and creatively inspired was really wonderful. And then it's always rewarding to receive feedback from the students, to engage with the students, that's really what it's all about, is making sure that the students are really engaged. And because they were on such a deep and broad, level, I guess you could say, it made the experience, highly rewarding on so many levels that, of course, you want to do it again. So we have some ideas about future programming and experiences. So.
Sounds really cool. Okay.
Do you want to do it again? I hope. Okay.
No,
Does that make you want to do it again?
It does.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Right now. Next
Right.
week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope you had fun learning about our mega collaboration project using arts integration. I know this was heavy on music, but just think of all the ways you can incorporate visual art standards into the instrument making to make it your own and make it work for you. Also, take back the ideas of collaborating with a community partner. It's a small step that makes a huge impact for your students and your community. Thank you. If you have any questions on this project or arts integration, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help. Take care.
Hi, I'm Yukiko. I love music and I love the arts in general. I also love science, technology, engineering, and math. So I hope you enjoy learning a little bit about our experience with all of those areas, and go off and do wonderful things, creative things with arts integration.